Hello, hello, hello. All right, looks like the audio's working. Welcome in, everybody who is not here in the room yet, but you will be. If you're watching this later on, thanks for watching. Back with Xenoblade Chronicles X, and we're a chapter away from getting our Skell license, which is the giant flying mechs that make this game so cool. Yep. Looks like the audio is working. Very good. So yeah, there's some side missions I'm just going to have to grind. Hopefully this is going to help me get to where I uncover most of the area of the map where you got to survey. And that's going to allow me to go into Chapter 6, which is getting your Skell license. So I think what we're going to do is just take out some random side quests here today. Let's go with this one. Alright. There we go. So yeah, it kind of sucks that they lock so much out of this, or so much of the story gets locked out behind having to do all this grinding. But I don't know. I guess it could be worse. We'll see how good some of these side missions actually are. That's the one thing I'm kind of worried about, is that a lot of this is just stupid filler crap. But if that ends up being the case, it'll still be worth it, because we'll get our Skell license soon, and that's when the game really gets fun, because you're able to just fly around and not have to worry so much about the limitations. Get behind them. Nice. Yeah, they always seem to turn right when you think you're in the spot to really like maximize your ability bonus. Enemies always seem to turn. This game is really good at that. It's like they read your mind. Aw, failed. I got that. Front. Get over here to the side. Oh man, I'm so glad I didn't fly off the edge. There we go. I needed that. I was about to die if I didn't heal. This is going to be close. Nice. Looks like I got him. Come on, one more hit. Nice. Yeah, I think they got a really good balance of enemies that you can attack whenever you want, and then enemies that'll attack you on sight. It's pretty much a good compromise between being able to see the enemies on the map and then random encounters. So as far as that goes, I think they did a really great job. I don't want to fight that thing. It's like minuscule experience for fighting a little baby monster like that. I don't know. I think I should look at maybe fast traveling here in a minute. When I get to somewhere safer to stop, and then probably fast travel. Run! God, I hate how the AI just always turns around and want to fight everything. It's like, just run with me. I've ended the battle 3 times. Just run. Do I need that? Man, that's too much. Oh, I've already got that one anyway. Yeah, this area kind of sucks. Because everything is almost freaking strong enough to kill you. Let's see if I can get in here. And fast travel. Ah, of course. Alright. Oh, come on. Am I still in a battle? What the fuck is that? What's trying to kill me? Alright, probably should just let it kill me, that way I can just warp. I guess that's the benefit of there not being any consequences of dying in this game. Alright, let's see where I can get out of here now. Alright, so the mission I'm doing is in Primordia. Right, oh, it's right outside the main city. Alright. It should be close. Now that I've warped over to this area. Yeah, I wish I would have looked at the map before I went taking off, but it is what it is. Alright. Slay Cyrene the Lost at Primordia's Sickle Rock Rise. So there should be a named enemy over here that we're looking for. Is it that big ass thing? Oh shit! That's what we gotta take down. Oh crap. Let's go. Oh crap. Now that is a monster. Would you look at it? Oh, would you look at that? Get in there. What is he doing? Ah. Man, I'm crushing this thing though when I hit it. It's big, but I do a lot of damage. Get behind it. Boom. Get to the side. Get to the side. No. Nice. I don't think this is going to be a problem. I just got to time my abilities right, I think. As long as I keep hitting it with the right abilities, I think it'll go down. Go. Boom. Alright, topple it. Nice. I'll get out of there. Oh, that was quick. Get to the side. Nice. Get out of there. No. Oh, I gotta remember to switch to my guns when I'm backing off like that. That was a rookie mistake. There you go. Nice. So that should help our blade level go up. That's the main thing right now, is the blade level needs to be increased. Because that's going to allow me to then place higher level beacons on the map. So this might be one to show you. Like, sometimes you'll run up on one of the beacons like this, and you'll want to put the thing down, and it just won't be. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Hope you're doing good today. Great Pokemon video. Can't wait to see the rest of them. See it be the very best. Catch them all. I want to do a Pokemon run, but I think I want to wait for the reboot. I think there's going to be a Pokemon reboot coming. And I think that's when I'm going to want to do it. I think they're going to like remake. When you think about like all the games that have been remade, I think that's what's going to happen. Is you're going to get like a straight up original Pokemon remake with like modern day Switch graphics and everything. That's my bold prediction for 2026. Is they'll announce something like that. And they'll charge you $80 for it too. All right, on, you're doing well. Thanks. Right on. I'm glad to hear that, Jimmy. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to have a 4-hour stream tonight, but I want to at least crush out some of these side missions. Because I've got a crap load of them that I've already accepted, and there's more to do. See, this is dumb. Because you've got to go to like a certain place and just randomly hope something shows up. Find Marinum to help further allow us to use more efficiently. I don't want to do that. A tyrant. We'll do this. That means there's a monster to kill. Let me check the map really quick to make sure I'm not running in the opposite direction of where I need to go. So it's all the way on the west side of this map. Yeah, so the main goal right now isn't even to like plow through the story. I just want to get my Skell license so we can start customizing the giant mechs. Because that's when the game gets really fun. When you're actually able to just like fly around and not have to worry about like, how do I get up there? Alright, so over here shouldn't be too far. Slay Archbolt the Revolutionary at Promoters. While it's raining, well, I almost think we're going to have to just sit and wait for it to rain or change the weather. Maybe there's some place to sleep around here, hopefully. At least if you sleep, you can just randomly change the time of the day and hope it rains. I've never really been a fan of missions like this. It's like, I get it, it trains you in a way to like read every quest description that you get and everything like that, but man, Like if I can't just make it rain, like I'm at a strip club, the mission kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. All right, well I guess I gotta travel back someplace where I could sleep. That's freaking not good game design. Because it might be raining. It might be raining when I'm on one side, and by the time I run to the other, it might not. You're able to mod one of the 3DS XL consoles you had. You just dumped my cartridge contents onto my SD card, so I played on EMU. Nice, there you go. That's the way it's intended to be, right? Legal emulation. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I've done that. I had a hacked PSP. I still have a hacked 3DS, actually. I should say soft modded. So is your, let me see, you're able to mod. Was yours a hard mod or a soft mod? Because I just did a soft mod on mine. I can't remember exactly which one it is. But I was able to do it without having to actually like crack it open and do anything to the actual hardware. Now you just got to put that ROM out on the internet, and you'll have your own ROM sharing site ready to go. No, I remember when I first stumbled upon sites where you could download ROMs. I went nuts. I'm not even going to lie. At that point, it was like absolutely impossible. Here's how I justified it in my head. Even if I wanted to buy everything, I wouldn't be able to do it. Right? And so by not even playing the game at all was doing that game a disservice. Because, you got to think, there's only so much time, there's only so much money in the world. Nobody could literally buy every game. Soft mod, just installed homebrew, and stuff followed. But yeah, that's what I did. I literally had a guy be like, alright, go here, do this. The scariest part of that is clicking on links and going to websites where you're just like, I don't know. Like, these people are officially, like, calling themselves hackers, and I'm going to these websites like, yeah, why not? So there's a little fear in doing that, I think. I've learned to have like a burner computer. When I worked at Apple, they gave me a crap load of iMacs to just have, because we had to have like known good devices to troubleshoot on while we were talking to people on the phone. So I actually still have one of those iMacs, and I soft modded the hell out of that thing so that it doesn't phone home to them anymore. And so that's now just my like burner computer. That like, if there's anything that I don't want like to risk a good computer on, I go to that computer first. It's technically illegal to download ROMs online. But for really, really old games like Emerald Fire, I just can't get my hands on them. Play the others from my own copies, though. Right on. Yeah, I'm bad. I've got a hard drive that if there's under 50,000 ROMs on this drive, I'll be shocked. And that was literally me just sitting and downloading for hours on end. I used to work from home. So that's how I got really good at playing guitar and amassed a huge digital collection of games and movies and other stuff. Yeah, that was the best part about working from home, honestly. It was like when you're sitting there waiting for a phone call, you're basically in a call queue when you're doing what I was doing. I was taking calls for Apple tech support, just working from home. So I'd be sitting there waiting for a call to come in, and I would just have my guitar in my hand all day long, pretty much. That was the closest I ever got to getting paid to play guitar. I got paid pretty well to play guitar. I'm not gonna lie. But that job was kind of a nightmare. Having to like deal with a little old lady that doesn't even know where the power button is, let alone what her email address is. That was a nightmare some days. Sometimes I miss it, just sitting in an office, taking calls, not busting my hands up in a freaking workshop all day long. And then there are days where I'm like, man, I'm so glad I don't have to sit in a freaking hour-long meeting about all kinds of bullshit that I don't care about. I did have to take security training today on what a social engineering attack is. Does anybody have any good advice on what a strong password suggestion should be? Should I use Steve01 as my password for everything? Or should I use a unique password for all of my accounts? True or false? They actually paid me to take a freaking training like that. Can you believe that? 6 years as an IT fucking pretty much. And they wanted me to take some training on what would be a strong password. Suppose one of the good things about playing emulation from your own copy is that the game may perform better with less lag compared to the online ones, which may have small corrupted bits of data. Well, you know what else? And they also have cracks in them, meaning that they're not 100% the software that is on that cartridge. I have a copy of Emerald, or no, not Emerald, of Sapphire and Ruby. And each one of those, I should record it and show you, just to show you on Discord or something. I might just put it as an unlisted link and then send it to you. But in my copy of Ruby and Sapphire, like Lester the Unlikely, I don't know if you've ever seen that. Not Lester. Is that Lester? Maybe it is. But they hacked it to where another video game character pushes their hacker team logo onto the screen, and it's like, haha, all you other hackers suck, we're the best. And then you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is this? And then you press start, and then all of a sudden, like Pokemon Emerald starts up just normally. So like that's kind of sketchy shit too. But I've scanned it, and there's nothing malicious comes from running it. I've played through the whole game. Alright, so what do I got to do to make it rain? I think we're just going to dump this mission again. Go on to the next one. Acorn Abacuses. We need somebody to bring a... Oh, let's see. Does it actually take me there? Nope. It's another stupid gathering quest where it doesn't actually tell you where to find what you're supposed to gather. See, I said this was a good game. I never said it was a perfect game. That's what I can't stand about fanboys. When you critique something like a video game that you already spent $70, $80 on this game, and then people expect you to not have like an opinion on it. Like, well, it has to be a good game, Why are you trying to be a hater? It's like, I didn't spend $70 on a game just so I could say I hate it. Like, I bought the game because I thought it was going to be good. That's what a lot of people hated about my Tears of the Kingdom take. Like, I don't know, man. I didn't just buy Zelda just so I could be like, this is stupid. Oh my god. Everybody, can you believe the weapons still break in this game? So yeah, this is where we're actually doing right now. See these little things, these little collectible crystals? One of them might be an acorn. It doesn't tell you where you might find one. It just says in Primidia, you're going to pick up acorn abacuses. So I guess I'm going to try running around. Maybe do another mission while I just run around collecting those. This is why you can't get nowhere in this game, because the missions are freaking stupid. Yes, gathering materials. I guess, betcha that's another stupid one. Tier list videos in general receive a lot more dislikes and hate because they are very opinion based. Yeah, I can see that. But again, you know, like why does everybody's opinion? I guess it's like in this political climate we live in, like everybody's opinion has to just be so offensive to everybody that doesn't share the opinion with you. That's what I don't understand. What's the client? They're waiting. Let's do this. Looks like this guy gives me someplace to actually go. Alright, so we've got to travel back to the main city. Industrial district. There it is. Okay. At least it shouldn't be too far now that I'm able to travel here. But seriously, why does it always have to be that we can't even like talk to each other if we have a differing opinion? I thought that was the whole point of like having a discussion, was so that you might be able to see somebody else or hear somebody else out and maybe have some kind of freaking growth of your own. Oh god, this controller's gonna be acting stupid. It's like the analog sticks were stuck going left. I gotta freaking... Hopefully resetting the console makes those sticks recenter themselves. Come on. That was dumb. It was almost like the controller was stuck holding the analog going left. Okay, yes. It auto saves pretty regularly though, so I should be alright with pretty close to where I was anyway. No, looks like I'm right back where I was. Never mind. Well, either way. Stupid. We'll go to this guy anyway. We won't fight that stupid thing again. That was dumb. It was like I touched the gamepad and the Pro controller was like, okay, I give up. You can play on the gamepad now. Alright, so there's the fast travel spot. Alright, now we're back where we were. Alright, technical difficulties. Alright. So what do you think, Jimmy? Can they save Pokemon Or is it over? Because I think it's on the decline. I think having over 1,000 Pokemon is actually a bad thing. Because comprising a party is just so, like, almost meaningless. When you just, you just end up looking up, okay, what party should I make? Suggestions online. And if you don't go with, like, those kind of, like, suggestions, you're just going to get ran. So I think they need to take Pokemon back to basics. I'm like an original Pokemon kid. When that game came out, I was literally like 14 years old, had my first job, and it was like, all right, well, I have to save up money to get a Game Boy and Pokemon now because that game's going to come out in like 2 more weeks, and I don't have a Game Boy. And I would remember at that point I was getting Nintendo Power in the mail. The internet didn't exist. And like everything that you saw was just from like Game Pro, Game Informer, Nintendo Power. And so I just remember hearing about Pokemon for the first time, and what it got me was they evolve and you can trade them. And I was like, all right, well, I'm now addicted to this for the rest of my life. It was like hockey cards. I was obsessed with hockey cards. But this was even better because like it was almost like once you had the hockey card, you could do something with it. So I think that was probably the coolest part. They need to go back to the DS era, Platinum, Black and White, Heart Gold, keep the same dimension, maybe update the pixel art a bit. Easier said than done. Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I would like a game, if like just like you said, let's go back to just saying it only has pixel art again. Instead of all this really awful fucking 3D anime inspired, just bland looking Pokemon. To me, to me the new ones seem really amateurish, like way too amateur to be a Nintendo official Pokemon game. I think that's probably the nicest thing I could say about it. Is like Pal World came out and it was like, hold on a minute, why is this better than Pokemon that has like billions behind it? Hey Troopers, how you doing? Chicka chicka bow wow. Thanks for joining. Back with Xenoblade Chronicles again. It's not going to be a 4-hour stream today, but I'm glad you showed up for this one. Talking about a couple things like what would make Pokemon kind of come back for you if you're over it. I don't even know if you even like Pokemon, but for me, I'm kind of over with Pokemon, and I'm thinking, what would make me want to get back into it? Black and White 2 Gen 5 was absolutely incredible, but let's build from that again in a new region. Yeah, not much of a Pokemon. I respect that. Not a lot of people. Well, I should say a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are, but a lot of people aren't. I was just telling Jimmy that I was one of the original kids. That was the whole reason why I bought a Game Boy. Oh hell yeah, Xenoblade is awesome. Man, that original story of Xenoblade Chronicles. I wish we could talk about that. Maybe I should do like a title where it's gonna just say like Xenoblade Chronicles spoilers, and we just talk about that story. Like I remember playing that on the Wii and thinking like, all right, well I guess the Wii is just not gonna have any great RPGs or anything like that. And then I forget what it was. There was like some mission or something where everybody was trying to get these games to come to North America from Japan. You know, like there was all these exclusive JRPGs that, you know, they were over in Japan and they were unsure if they were going to get brought over to North America. And Xenoblade Chronicles was one of those games. And man, I can't believe how good of an RPG they made with the Wii remote. You know, like you could just start the discussion with that. Like just the camera controls, how you can bring it all in and set like everything about the camera exactly to your liking. That doesn't get enough credit. I bought Pal World and I'm loving it. Oh, it's a completely different thing, but it's the whole concept, you know. Pokemon is definitely more a charming basic battle system. You're right. Yeah, I just don't think that... I think Pokemon's battle system's too basic, honestly. I think it's been that way, and they haven't evolved it nearly enough to keep it interesting. I think that Pokemon that share the same, like, move sets is just unacceptable. Like, we should all have unique animations and move sets for every character in an RPG in 2025. I mean, we don't have the restrictions of like memory and cartridge size that we had when Pokemon came out. You know, like what created Pokemon and those move sets, and that was all kind of just limitations of what your cartridge could actually hold. And we're so beyond that being a problem that, you know, Pokemon sharing move sets and just being carbon copies of each other, that's unacceptable nowadays. There's literally no reason why every Pokemon shouldn't have, you know, unique move sets, unique animations, and how maybe even variations to all of that. Alright, let's take this thing out. It wants to mess around, so we'll oblige it with a battle. We're right where we need to be. So we probably need to clear this area out before we start the mission anyway. So yeah, Troopers, you are a huge Xenoblade fan. Well, how many of them have you played? I've played them all, but this is the only one I haven't beat. Oh, I haven't beat 3. I've gotten pretty far in 3. But 1 and 2, I've completed all the way. Oh, you played them all? Right on. Sounded like you probably did. Haven't played Saga or... Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I would say Xenogears. Xenogears is long, but it's a super fun game. Like, the combat system really pulls that game along. Just like the way you kind of discover all those secret combos and things like that. That had me going... And then it's cool to just see the evolution of like how the gear combat came from, because you did actually go into gears even in the original PS1 game. So it is cool to see that evolution. Agree, if they want to go 3D open world in Pokemon, they need to make it more complex. A basic battle system is perfect in a 2D world. In a 3D world, right, exactly. I mean, everything has to be impressive when you're in a 3D world. Oh, you've seen everybody? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so you know the story and everything at that point then, and all the little battle or the battle system intricacies. Yeah, it's weird that this is nothing like any of the other ones. Especially with the way they all share, you know, some kind of similarities up until Chronicles. And then they completely went in that other direction. But it makes sense to me. It makes sense. Why have another just menu-based, turn-based RPG? As much as I think I would have liked Final Fantasy Remake to have just been an updated version of Final Fantasy VII. I also don't hate the remake for what they did with it. I mean, I kind of do commend them for like being as brave with some of the story decisions, but at the same time, I hate anything that's like a multiverse, time travel bullcrap story. Oh, right on. You're good, troopers. No worries. I appreciate you even being here. But yeah, Jimmy, when it comes to 3D, I mean, you expect a certain amount of flash and flare. And heck, I mean, I feel like even if you're going to go like a live action combat where you're moving around, you know, you've got to be able to do something, you know, like I've got to be hitting buttons and making combos and maybe even controlling the Pokemon directly, you know, making it fight and possibly do some like crazy God of War combos. I mean, like I'm talking like it's got to be crazy if you're gonna put it into a modern action RPG formula. I just feel like it's just ridiculous to have move sets that are just cut and paste. You know, oh, okay, this is the fire-based Pokemon, but now it's going to start off with higher stats, you know, at a lower level. So this is the one that you want to go with going for. It just seems like with Zelda and Pokemon, they've gotten so lazy with like, this has worked. There's no reason to shake up anything. Like that's the state of the video game, or let's just say like the motto of the modern game industry is just play it safe. You know, do what everybody else is making money with. If you ask me, we could be looking at well, you're not from the U.S., so this might not even be relevant to you. But the video game crash that we had here, where people basically stopped buying video games in like the mid 80s. I don't know, man. I'm not saying that it's going to completely go away, but it's definitely on life support around here. When you look at a lot of the storefronts for like Steam, the PlayStation Store, there is so much garbage game content that is dumped out on like official gaming platform stores that I can't even believe that I'm looking at some of this shit sometimes. Like the anime porn that is pretty much disguised as video games now is pretty crazy. Wow, this thing's kicking my butt, isn't it? It's like, I'm sure, you know, nobody hates a good waifu or anything like that. But the anime girl dating simulator, seems like every time I go on any digital storefront, there's a new one of those. Game devs have just lost the ability to determine what environment in-game needs to make a specific game work. Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, they also are conflicted on what games they want to make, I think. Do you want to make an RPG, or do you want to make God of War with cute animal creatures in it? You know, like let's go back to basics here for a minute. And just think, what are we really trying to do here? Because I think making $1 billion is ultimately all anybody cares about anymore. It's like, I get it that every game company is in it to make money. I don't fault any game company or Nintendo or anybody for that matter for doing what's going to make the most amount of money. Because that's ultimately why you start a business. But not understanding that there's not really a risk in giving people something good that you know there's an audience for. You know, a classic JRPG with an action-based combat system like Super Mario RPG. It seems like such an easy game to just pump out left and right. And nobody's done it. Like, nobody has done it. I think most of that stuff is Japanese. Yeah, you know, the dating sims and all of that stuff. It seems popular enough that everybody's doing it. Every time I turn around, there's a new one. I've seen, like, on Steam, there's, like, insane shit, like Panty Thief Simulator or some shit like that, where, like, you're literally, like, your goal is to sneak into, like, it's like pick a girl, sneak into her room, and, like, steal her underwear or some shit like that. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, coming out of the PS1 era, I thought we were done with that JRPGs are a niche thing. But yeah, apparently not. If it's not a first-person shooter or, you know, a first-person RPG like Skyrim or one of the billions of Soulsborne clones, you know, that's too risky. Too risky. Alright, there's Howard. Hey Howard, you look a little too calm over here doing nothing with all that fighting that was just going on. Is that like Howard Lincoln? Like former Nintendo? I don't remember what he did, but he was like their warehouse guy that he turned into their like translator or whatever. So he would play. What a cool job. They would send him Japanese games and then ask him if the American audience would like it. That's a story I heard about Howard Lincoln with Nintendo. That he was like a warehouse guy that worked in Nintendo Japan. And so since he was an American working in Japan, they would have him right there. And they'd be like, hey, do you think Americans would like this game? So he would always get games that we wouldn't have way early. Square and Enix had to merge in the peak, right? I remember when that happened, too. I really wasn't too big of a fan of Enix. I'm not going to lie. Like, Dragon Warrior and all that stuff was never really my thing. Like, I'd get into them and then just get burned out. That's kind of like Earthbound, where like it's a great game. Like, don't get me wrong, I would never say that like the story and the art and music and everything in Earthbound isn't good. But man, like I don't like the combat in Earthbound at all. I'm a hardcore Square Enix and Monolith Soft. I hope they both break the ceiling. And so, oh, me too. Jesus Christ, I would love for Square to just be making tons of classic Final Fantasy games and not have to worry about not taking risks anymore. Final Fantasy 16 just didn't do it for me. Suppose it's similar with JRPG games like Paper Mario. I have an official copy of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and that was a great game. Yeah, it is. Watched new gameplays of Paper Mario, Origami King, and whatnot. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I probably should look into that. Because I love like any of the like Mario RPG stuff. I wish they would have gone, or that they wouldn't have gone away from the direction Square was taking it. But I mean, there's just nothing you can do about that now. It would be great if they could get that relationship repaired. So, let's see. A proper chopper. Find a spherical EM motor in Noctilum. So I'm in Noctilum right now. It looks like this is another just run around and randomly hope you find something. And the good news is that item should just be red on the field. So I'm going to try and run around for a couple minutes here and see if I find it. I don't see it on the map anywhere as like a giveaway of where to go. But I should see, it should show up on the map as like a red collectible instead of that blue. Mario RPG, wait a minute, I missed one. Did so poorly, they don't even announce sales number. Oof. Suppose it's similar with RPGs, like, oh, that's one. Mario RPG and 3DS were good too. Mario and Luigi Dream Team were decent. I kind of moved away at that point. I don't remember playing that one. I don't remember that. And no doubt, and they doubled units sold over. Xenoblade Chronicles X. Yeah, we thought they doubled units in the first year of release. So, yeah, I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles X was kind of left to die. I mean, it was already on the Wii U, so at that point, that said enough. Shoot, I think almost everybody... I'm still one of the original owners of this game and of the Wii U. I never got rid of my Wii U. It was basically my daughter's, so I kind of made it like a thing of like, okay, I got her this for Christmas. I'm not going to sell it. You know, like this is going to be hers to do whatever she wants to do with it. Normally I would sell a console as soon as I wanted to buy the next one. I'm not really like all that nostalgic on keeping original consoles. But yeah, this was hers, so I couldn't sell it. First year release. I tried Paper Mario, not for you. Almost bought the Wii U just to play this. I got it for my daughter. I literally got it because she loved the Wii, and then obviously the Wii U is coming out, so it was just natural that, okay, well, she loves her Mario, and she actually loved Mario Party. I think that was the one thing that she really, really wanted this for. And yeah, I literally only cared about Monster Hunter and this. When I think back of the two games, well, there was obviously Smash. Smash Brothers for Wii U was actually really good. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door was a bit boring when I replayed it. Not gonna lie, biggest criticism was too much backtracking. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, it is. There's just not a lot to do for a lot of those sections. You know, it's basically like, you know, you've cleaned out an area, and like you said, you know, like once you're going back through these areas, it's just like there's not really anything to do when you are going through those. Yeah, I agree to that. I just think they lost what a Mario RPG should be. Square had it so perfect that there was no reason to even deviate from that formula other than they didn't own it. I understand that Nintendo couldn't just make another Mario RPG when they don't own it. This might be a bit dicey right here. I didn't know there was going to be 4 of these guys. Hopefully I can finish another mission or 2 and get my blade level to rise. That's what I'm really needing. Because I need to get my probes leveled up so that I can actually put a beacon up in some of these areas where I'm locked out right now. I might have to run from this. I'm getting pounded. I'm gonna keep trying to convince my daughter she wants a PS5 and she won't let you. Twilight Town and Buggy Boys. I also talk crap about getting a PS5 for Final Fantasy games and I still don't have one. Yeah, the PS5 when I got mine was super rare and I was like, oh my god, I gotta have one. And then I got it. And all I did was play PS4 games on it for the longest time. I was like, well, why did I justify this again? Like, I played Spider-Man. The Spider-Man game on PS5 was really good. But that was real. I only really got that because it was part of the bundle. You had to get the bundle when you ordered at that time. GameStop was like, I mean, how is that not price gouging? Being like, yeah, I'll sell you a PS5, but you got to buy X, Y, and Z with it. I don't know how that doesn't count as like price gouging. But like, you couldn't actually buy just a PS5 at that point. $700 for a PS5 was woof. Oof. Yeah, that is rough. Well, that's the PS5 Pro, right? I don't like these run around and hope you find a fucking item mission. So now I gotta find another mission to do. So hopefully I'm just gonna run across all this crap while I'm doing other stuff. Yeah, that sounds like that might be a PS5 Pro. Yeah, that's way too much money. For a PlayStation, I would go out and buy a gaming PC if I was going to drop $700. I mean, that's just the truth. Explore 30% of Oblivia. Well, that's another stupid mission that I just can't run and go complete. Alright. This thing's dead again. Let's go kill this monster. Ugh. Alright. Now I remember why I kind of lost... I wouldn't say lost interest, but I lost steam with this. Excessive backtracking and a lack of direction in games or sections of games just irritates you. Yeah, I can see that. You know, like, because you know that that's what the developers are doing, is they're just doing it to make sure that the game lasts longer. You're like, okay, now that we're backtracking, you know, that's going to add 2 extra hours to this game. So that makes you feel like you're getting your money's worth. Xenoblade is really fun to backtrack. Yeah, they do keep it interesting because they're like, as I'm running through different areas, eventually I'm gonna want to fight that. You know, like I'm gonna want to just take that down instead of run past it. So, like you said, they do keep backtracking like that interesting. That definitely is true. Alright, we'll take Cyrene the Lost down again. Why you no attack? Come on, then. Final Fantasy 12 made backtracking really fun. I like how they had the hunt structure in that. That was probably my favorite video game, like hunting, where you had to go, or I forget what they call it. They were just hunts, weren't they? Where you just went to that little Montblanc guy, and he's like, "Hey, these monsters are like super crazy." I love how they did that. That was actually one of the funnest things to do in that game, was to complete all those damn hunts. I didn't think it was gonna be, but some of those later ones get crazy. We are backtracking for 30 minutes just to talk to Toad in the yeah, I agree to that, Jimmy. That's annoying. Right, there should at that point there should just there is. They do have like a warp system, so to speak. So I don't know why they don't implement it better. You know, that's all it can come down to is just lazy game dev design. So, you know, the game has to last 30 hours. Well, how do you make it do that? Backtracking! Yeah, some of those late game monster hunts were so good. You had to be so creative to deal with some of the threats that some of those enemies would pose. I got close to the platinum in 12. But I don't know. I think there was a lot. I think there were... What was the hard one? I think you had to like fill up like every single section of like the level up or something. I don't know. I just know that it was some crazy trophy that kept me from wanting to go for the platinum on that. I was really close. Oh, right? Yeah, the JR... Shoot. Final Fantasy stories are a reason why I play video games these days. I was pretty much like at a crossroads. You know, like, am I going to become an athlete or am I going to play video games? You know, and be into like technology and stuff. And my buddy had Final Fantasy VII, and I saw it over at his house for the very first time. And it was, and I was kind of close to just not even wanting a PlayStation or anything. And then I saw Final Fantasy VII. I saw the Knights of the Round summon, and I was like, all right, well, I'm now obsessed with this. I was always kind of obsessed with Final Fantasy before that, but it was starting to kind of die off. Then they had that stupid Trouble Center in Paper Mario to backtrack to certain chapters to get rewards rather than watch paint dry. Same Troopers, Final Fantasy VII. I just told you that made me go down the I'm going to be playing video games for the rest of my life route. Yep, I was in the generation where my parents questioned, like, when are you going to quit playing that shit? You know, like, at some point my parents thought, like, even being into computers was bad. I'm of that era, where if you sat in front of a computer, it meant you were, like, lazy and your brain was rotting, and it was terrible. And now you can't, like, be an adult without having computer skills. Like, you'd be considered a fucking alien if you were 20 years old and didn't know how to use a computer. See that? Look at that. I hate that shit. You just randomly run across shit and like, oh, there you go. Ugh. Irritating. They should at least give you an area, like go to this general vicinity of the map and collect things. That would be so much easier than just like, there's going to be random stuff. Just go pick it all up. I would say that's the worst this game has to offer, actually, is some really dumb side missions like that. I mean, you can just almost ignore them and then naturally complete them. I guess that's the good part of it, is you could just accept it and then run around and just naturally collect everything. But I like to look at my list of missions, obviously, and start whittling it down. What am I doing? Probably find one more before I call it quits. Could really use some backup. This has to be a battle or something. we'll do this mission and call it quits. It's been an hour. I wanted to do an hour. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. Xenoblade Chronicles is the only Xenoblade I had to use a guide to do the Collectopedia. Ha! When I don't play Pokemon or Mario, I just play Minecraft, Palworld, and Skyrim. Ha! I'm honestly thinking, because I have Minecraft for the Wii U, because my daughter loves Minecraft. I've never played Minecraft, and I think that might make for some funny content. So I might do that one of these days, just for the lulz. Like, I respect Minecraft. Like, I am definitely not talking shit about Minecraft at all. I'll talk shit about Fortnite and how, like, stupid and I'm not into Fortnite. But I'm just not good at Minecraft. I'll be able to tell you that right now. Like, designing something in my head and then running around and being like, alright, we're going to make this happen. Whew! I'm just not there. Your daughter likes Minecraft too. Yep. Oh yeah. You know what though? I'd much rather her be into Minecraft than Fortnite. She likes Fortnite too. She told me she got the Sabrina Carpenter skin in Fortnite, and I was like, what the hell is that? And it's basically just like DLC that was like $15 or whatever, that you can just look like a certain person in Fortnite. I was like, that's the dumbest thing and the smartest thing at the same time. Because like she couldn't wait to get that, but it's like completely useless. Alright, let's warp to the residential area. There we go. Hold, please. I have to find the water spot. Where did it go? What? Why can't I warp to the residential district? NLA Administrative District. Let's do this. I think I haven't been there yet. That's probably the reason why. I've never played Fortnite. It looks so bad it's funny, right? That's what I said. Like, this doesn't even look interesting. And then, like, everything you invest into that game is, like, over at the end of the match. So, like, that's another huge problem that I have with any game, that if I'm going to put time into it, I want it to, like, amount to something. And if you're saying that all it's going to amount to is, like, some digital currency that I then have to spend, like, actual money on to make the most of, like, I'm good. Nope. I'd rather play a long RPG like this where I get a nice storyline. Yeah, let's do it. We got to do this, don't we? Backup request. That's what we were doing. Alright, so we'll do this, and then I'll call it a stream. I thank you guys for stopping in. Just wanted to make sure I got a stream in the middle of the week. Fortnite is a bottomless money pit, right? When you're talking about kids needing to spend money on a freaking skin, that's ridiculous, man. I can't freaking believe that that's something that's even legal. Well, I guess loot boxes we've gotten away with. We have won that one, haven't we? Who's missing loot boxes? Kids be like, I need V-Bucks to give me your credit card and unlock these new skills and skins, right? But they justify it as like, well, you can play the game and earn V-Bucks, and it's like, yeah, at such a minuscule pace that you'd go freaking insane, or actually turn into an adult before you amass enough V-Bucks to do that. Right, get a job. Yeah. Hey, she ended up buying all those skins and crap herself because I was like you. Nope, I ain't spending no money on that. I've got pretty much a hard no DLC rule. Like expansion packs like Blizzard used to make back in the Diablo and Warcraft days. I would accept those. Those are fine. They give you a hell of a lot of content for like $30 or something like that. But like when you're talking like $10 for like one item or a skin or something, nah, that ain't for me. I'm pretty proud to say that I've never bought what would be considered DLC. I don't know, maybe a Diablo expansion pack. I guess we'll say that is. I guess modern Diablo expansion packs pretty much are DLC. I had such high hopes when I first saw like the art direction for Diablo 4. Oh, you accepted request. Some DLC is worth it. Yeah, if it comes with like new mechanics, like shoot, some DLC, like the Diablo one specifically would add like characters, like a completely new character with a whole different set of moves to learn. That's worth $25, $30 that they were charging at the time. I mean, I would do that all day and not think about it. But sitting there saying that like just a skin, it doesn't even change the gameplay in any kind of way. All it does is give you a different looking character. No way. I'm not doing that. That's just crazy to me. I don't. If somebody likes it, I'm glad that they're enjoying whatever they buy. But for me, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather do anything else with my $10 than have a video game character. Have a French maid outfit. Because I'm gonna pay for my character to run around as a French maid in Resident Evil remake, and then my mother-in-law is gonna come over and watch me playing a game with my French maid uniform running around, and I'm gonna feel comfortable with that. Yeah, she'd probably find that funny. She's actually got a sense of humor. Zelda DLC is worth it? Okay. What was the Xenoblade DLC? I honestly couldn't tell you that I know what the Xenoblade DLC was. It was just kind of like a new story, right? Am I remembering that right? I think 2. I remember the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Investigate the probe. Well, that thing's going to kick my ass. I'm definitely not going to be able to beat all of those. Oh, yeah, they both have DLC? Okay. Yeah, I never looked into that. I really liked the almost like the mystery of unlocking. What were they called? God, I can't remember what they were called now. But there was almost like that mystery mechanic of unlocking new party members in 2. Was that part of what the DLC was? Wasn't Shulk a DLC? Am I missing it? Or was he just in the game as somebody you could unlock? Alright, well, I actually don't think I'm going to be able to do this mission if this level 27 monster's prowling around here. So I'm going to try to run back here one more time, and I might end it if I have to fight that thing, because that ain't gonna happen tonight. Yeah, and they included new blades. That's what they're called, blades. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. The way the universe is all connected and stuff is just so freaking awesome. I literally had no idea that Xenoblade Chronicles 1's story was going to just get so insane. It seemed like so generic. Like when you get to that one, how should I put it? When you find out that somebody's been changed really bad, but it's kind of bittersweet all at the same time. You think that like, wow, this game just got crazy. And then Fiora. Let's just say Fiora. Mid-game Fiora. Like when that all like goes down, you're just like, what the hell? And then it just gets crazier. Like, how could it just get crazier? And it does. Oh, what a great game. What a great game. Yeah, and you know what's crazy about that? Is you would think the way that all plays out would rob some of the emotional impact later when you go back and like play it again. But no, it doesn't. It literally doesn't, man. Like that first setup for getting set out on the main story, like it holds up so damn well, even on second and third playthroughs. Like it's still like jarring, man. A+. I love this series and this franchise. Every time you replay a Xenoblade, it just gets better. I agree, because I'm sure there's just so many like mini little things that I'm gonna miss, especially trying to stream it and just kind of get through it. Because it's definitely not just like left in your face that like, hey, look, there's going to be a mission that you're going to miss if you don't go over here and talk to this one person. There's so much of that. Like the whole social link and everything, like you can get lost in that too. And to believe, if you can believe it, some people don't even like JRPG mechanics. You know, they're like, oh my god, you've got all these hard, complex systems and things to learn, and it's just like, yes, that's exactly the point of a role-playing game, but like, go ahead and tell me why that's bad. That like, we've gotten to a point right now that it's completely acceptable to the mainstream to have like an RPG where you don't even look at your stats, you know, like modern RPG players don't want to be sitting there worrying about doing math and this and that and the other, and it's like, are you freaking kidding me, man? We've had to dumb everything down for the mainstream so much that we're even going to take math out of RPGs. Oh yeah, I mean, shoot, Pokemon, shoot. I still enjoy it every now and then. I like the retro Pokemon way, way more. I would actually say that I kind of hate modern Pokemon. Like, it almost has no reason to be 3D on the Switch. You know, they did nothing to actually benefit none of the animations that the characters do. Like you literally now, even with the modern, you know, Pokemon battle system, a standard Pokemon attack is still the camera zooms in on your Pokemon and he goes, wait, 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 and then like the camera zooms out, and then like you see like some weird animation happen to the opponent Pokemon, and then it's like, oh, he's confused now or whatever, and it's like, wait a minute, that was really, really bad and like low effort and not what you expect from a billion dollar franchise. I don't know how that's acceptable to anybody. In 2025, an attack animation where it's just wait, 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 wait. I mean, that's literally like a great example of one of the modern Pokemon attack animations. It's like a balloon elephant, you know, a balloon animal just going wait, 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 wait. Please tell me I can install. Yes. That's another thing I kind of hate about this. You'll run around looking for some of these, and they only give you so many research points or whatever to put in. And of course, you'll stumble across a beacon that you can't freaking plant. Alright, investigate the data probe at Oblivion's twin arches. Alright, I'm glad I didn't give up on this. This wasn't too hard. You basically just have to play Metal Gear Solid and not get spotted. But that's what's really cool about their encounter system, though. Like, once you know what icons are what, you know what to get away from. Doesn't use skill points. Yeah, I mean, that's, once again, you know, we've gotten, let's dumb things down. Let's remove stuff. Heck, there's even versions of classic RPGs where we got the baby version of it. At least here in the States. At some point, they thought so little of us over here in the States as far as like our ability to play JRPGs that we got Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I kind of wonder if anybody would like to see me bang my head against Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. That might be some some good clickbait, you know. Professional Final Fantasy player gets mad at Mystic Quest. All field skills are just there for free. Oh, okay, gotcha. So the definitive edition, I get you. I get what you're saying. Now the definitive edition doesn't use those. Damn, maybe I should have bought that. Man, now you've got me thinking. Maybe I really should have. Can I transfer my save? Yeah, that is so dumb. There was just no need for it. It doesn't make the game better to have to level up stupid things like that, especially when you're going to be randomly running upon things that you just can't do anything with. Nobody wants to go run somewhere, right? Nobody wants to just run and go do something only to be told like, oh, can't do anything. Can't do that. Or at least make it more clear that, like, okay, in this area, you know, all these beacons are going to be, you know, level 2 or whatever. Like, I could accept that. Alright. So are these big-ass monsters just getting, like, attracted to these data probes or something? Wish they didn't do that. It made the blade jobs pointless. I was a Pathfinder for 80% of my game, and it didn't matter. Yeah, I know how that goes. But I think that's part of the every game has to be pretty much accessible now. You know, I loved when like we were talking about Final Fantasy VII earlier, that it wasn't made for you to just get through it. You were rewarded for being good enough to actually beat a boss and see that next cutscene and progress into the story. And now it seems like game devs think like, oh my god, if somebody buys my game and they don't see the entire story, then like somehow we all lost in this equation. So now like every game has to be like just baby mode somewhere baked into it to where you can't really die unless you're really, really trying to. I don't know, man. It seems like they make games to be experienced now and like challenging you and making you feel good for being smart or doing something. Like that's all out the fucking window. Like that's what I loved about Final Fantasy Tactics was that you could craft a character like so like meticulously, with having them go so far into one job route and then go into another and learn this, and then you can come back and kind of say, okay, here's where I want to fill in the holes. Like that to me is why you play an RPG. You know, a story's there to keep you along through the kind of like boring parts of character building and get you into that end game where it's like, all right, now that I'm free to go kind of do whatever I want, you know, and build a character, you know, they first get you to the through the painful process kind of with the story. Regroup, investigate the data probe, and I believe is aeroplane. Okay, so it looks like we're going to go back here. Alright, back in the day, only the best were actually able to beat the entire game. You know what? That is so true. And you want to know what else? I say beat the game religiously. Like that is, I don't know if that ages us or what, but I was commenting on something and I was like, oh man, I beat that like 10 times, you know, before I was even a teenager. Or I said something like that. And I just got flamed online for saying, like, everybody was putting, like, in quotations, like, beat the game. Like, that meant I was, like, such a fucking boomer or something. I was like, hey, man, you know, in my era, you actually had to beat the game. You know, like, it tried to beat you. Nowadays, it's just, hey, you paid for the money, you paid the money, experience the story. Here you go. You know, you're gonna feel like you got ripped off if you don't experience the story. They really did a good job at making your kind of like generic character feel part of all of what's going on too, though. It's kind of hard to let you create your own character like this and have it feel like it belongs. Alright, troopers, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm almost out too. Once this is over, I'm gone. So thanks for stopping in. Have a great night. You're definitely awesome. Am I subbed to you? I'm going to have to see if I'm subbed to you after this and correct that if I'm not. I'm going to look you up. Thanks for stopping by. I know I'm subbed to my boy Jimmy. Keeps it coming with the Pokemon content. I remember back in the day there was a KFC commercial with the cartoon Colonel, and they were doing like a Pokemon promotion. And in like the middle of the commercial, the cartoon Colonel would pop up and be like, "Why don't you pop on in and get yourself a Pokemon beanbag toy?" This way, Pokemon beanbag toy. It was great. Shouldn't I be doing an overdrive already? Alright, looks like we're going to take this clown down. Boom. Heavy hitter. Why am I zoomed in? I hate when I get lost in the battle and I forget to zoom out for everybody so you can see what's actually happening. There we go. There's that mission down. Alright, Jimmy, take care. Have a great one. See you later, brother. Fog. He's Fog. It's a pretty cool character. I'll keep him in the party for a while. That was a worthy mission. We got a new character in our party. Got some experience and probably maybe a blade level or two. So I'll check that out before I get off of here too. Alright, well, let's travel back to New LA. Go back to the Blade Barracks. Alright, so she'll tell us if we've leveled up our blade level at all. And it looks like we have not. Alright, well, I'm gonna leave it here. Pretty good stream. Got some missions knocked out, some experience gained. Hung out with Jimmy and your troopers, so thanks a lot for coming in, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.